Hello Year 12. Today we're going to be taking what we've learned about linear functions so far and we're going to apply it to practical real-world situations. Before we do that, quickly, we're going to just review drawing a linear function, graphing a linear function. So we've got the function here y equals x plus 2. So I'm going to just remind you of the y equals mx plus b method that we introduced yesterday. In this case we have an m of 1 and a b of 2. So our graph is going to go through this point, that's going to be the y-intercept, and our gradient is just 1. So for every 1 we go across, we're going to go up by 1. I'll just do 2 points here. So this point is going to be on our graph, and this point is going to be on our graph. And now we just join them up. And there we go, we've drawn the graph of y equals x plus 2. Okay, I'll get you guys to just have a read through what's happening here in this situation. Basically, what we've done is we've made a graph here of the number of songs in Logan's iTunes library. He starts off with 100, and then he adds 15 new songs every month. So what's happening here in this graph is that this line is increasing at a rate of 15 per month. I think this will make more sense when we go through an example, which I have right here. So here we have a graph that displays the conversion between Australian dollars and New Zealand dollars. You can see here that 40 Australian dollars converts to 50 New Zealand dollars. And here that 20 Australian dollars converts to about 25 New Zealand dollars. And we're going to read off this graph to answer these two questions over here. If we have 40 Australian dollars and we want to convert it to New Zealand dollars, what do? We start from, well, the first one is done for us. We start from 40 here, we go up, and then we go across, and we see that 40 Australian dollars equals 50 New Zealand dollars. And then in the second example, we go to 25 New Zealand dollars, and we want to see how many Australian dollars that's worth, and that comes to 20. Another example here. This graph that we've been given here shows us what Grace earns. Every week, if she sells 0 new policies, she gets $400 here. And then for every policy she sells, she earns an increasing amount of money. So let's look at the questions we have to answer here. What is her base salary? Well, her base salary is simply the salary she earns when she doesn't sell any policies. So we look up here and see that that's $400. Now, Part B, what is her salary in a week where she sells 8 new policies? So what we do is we find 8 policies here on the graph. We go up, and then we go across to find her income. And it looks like it comes to $800. Part C, how many policies does she need to sell in a week to earn $700? Well, we start here at $700. We come across and down, and it looks like it lands on 6. So she needs to sell 6 policies in a week to get $700. Okay, now here in part D, we're looking to find an equation for the line. So we're going to be looking for something that looks like this. I equals m, that's the gradient, times n, plus b, wherever the y-intercept is. So the first thing we're going to do is try and figure out the gradient. So let's just look at this portion here, where the rise over run equals 200 over 4. And we can put that in our calculator, or do it in your head if you can. And we find out that the gradient of this line is 50. Now, B is the point where it crosses the y-axis, or in this case, 400. So we can fill that into our equation, and we end up with I, the income, is equal to 50 times N, the number of policies sold, plus $400, her base salary. And then we can use this equation to calculate her income where N equals 3. So we do 50 times 3 plus 400. Her income that week would be $550. And then question F, how much does Grace earn for each new policy? Well, every time N is increased by 1, she earns an extra $50. Okay, so what I'll get you guys to do now is just open up your textbooks to page 141 and skip ahead to question 2 and then just do all the questions after that. Thanks, guys.